Okay, welcome to the live. This is episode 0001. And right now I'm checking to see if I'm actually streaming. Let's see. Okay, I am. All right, I'm live. All right, let's rock and roll. This is the setup. I'm in the program Chitu Box and I modeled a kind of like I wouldn't say Gundam, but more like a mech. I can't, take Gundam's IP. So it's more like a mech, and I've combined it with, um, you know, gummies basically. So I love gummies, obviously, and just one of those things: gummies, mechs, and coffee. And also, I love modeling, 3D games. But I would say gummies and mech is one of those on the top of my list. But anyway, hope this don't is not too boring, but I'm trying to compile everything in this one tight space. I don't want to overdo it, but at the same time, I have over here another build plate set up ready for like the it's kind of like a gummy mold where it'll mold out the shape of a gummy bear. And I also have the gummy bear as well with it, so I can put it inside the mech. And I went and edited some of the, like this right here is the top part of the mech head, where it's like the rim. Let me grab a picture so I can show it. All right, here's the image I've used for like a render. But anyway, this right here, I cut it so I can take this off as well as this, the rocket launcher, so I can kind of slide the gummy bear in there and put it back on, and make that a feature of the actual thing. Right now, it's like the first, I would say, setup, not the final. I'm testing to see how it all turn out. Um, I have these keys that I just kind of makeshift keys. That it's not something that I done precise. I guess I'll say precisely to allow articulation is just to slide in so I can glue it because it'll just stand in one place right now. This is like the beginning of the concept, and I don't want to get too, how can I say, overzealous. Alrighty, I want to create some things here that allow me to, I guess this may not be bad because it goes upward in an angle, and it's not allowing me to actually put supports there. um it is what it is. I have to take it as is. I don't like that one. Actually, I can work with this. I'll just clean up the edges. Better something than nothing, I will say. Because I'd rather have to go through and do like manual cleanup than to uh, have to try and create what's already there. So easy to subtract than to add, I will say. So whenever I can put extra supports, I will put extra supports, not really um, tight on resin as much. If I can get this one to act a little less evasive. Where is this going? Into the, yeah, I can work with that. I can live with it. Let's do the final one. And there it is. Here. Well, I guess I'll do a little talking about the mech itself and the gummies. Oh no, I just had an idea. I was like, why not combine them? I mean, I think everyone can appreciate, you know, a tough gummy. And so I just decided, I mean, I'll combine them. And then I started thinking, I can actually create an entire world behind this concept. And so I was thinking to myself, why not? And so that's when I just hopped into Adobe Modeler just to sketch out, you know, the possibility, I'll say. And that led me to pretty much going through an entire model. One thing led to another, and here I am. And so right now I'm just going through checking to see what can be added for support. That might be enough, but I still think I can give it a little more support. Okay, this one here, I think that's fine. This one, I prefer another one there. Oh yeah, I forgot the inside. I think that's pretty good. I think it did a great job in finding good locations to place supports. Let me start here for that one. And maybe it'll build from there. And I don't want it to be a failed print. So let's zoom in a little more, drop down some. I think that can be a great place to add support. This one looks, I wonder why it's okay, there we go. I was wondering why it was fighting. Sometimes, I'll look and I'll place supports and I'll realize that the print is complete, that I really didn't need supports in that area. But I've learned it's better to have more than less. So, I just place them where I can get them. I'm pretty sure there's some people will tell you that more likely, um, 10 times better at setting up print jobs than I am. And they'll tell you, you probably should do some things that I am doing. You should do it differently. And that's cool. But, I just do what I can and figure it out because that's how they figured it out, just doing it over and over. But and sometimes mistakes lead you to solutions. So that's how I kind of work. Oh, look at this one. This one's like in need of a lot of support, so to speak. So a lot of these details to me matter. And so I don't want to go and place, that's not going to help. I don't want this to end up being, a failed print. I already went through that, and now I may grab my camera and show that maybe in the future. But yeah, when I get that, wouldn't be alive. That'll most likely be recorded, and then I'll post it. But yeah, it's like that. It looks like it's in need of some form of extra care, just like this. Okay. Yeah. See, I feel like if I leave these things hanging, I'm gonna be disappointed, and that disappointment will most likely be something I could have avoided, but I didn't avoid by just adding these supports like this over here. I get it. It's here. Probably not so bad of a, thing, but hey, gotta do what feels right. But anyway, so I was thinking of different ideas about the, Gummy Mech story. I don't know, maybe even look into making it a game. It depends on how well it's received by an audience. Because otherwise, it's just kind of like putting a lot of energy into something that I may like, but if there's no audience, then I'm kind of just, you know, how can I say it? Kind of just it end up just being a hobby, and I'm shooting in the wind, and I'm not, you know, doing anything others are interested in, and a lot of times that can be, fulfilling if you are on an island, but if you're not on the island, it can, kind of not be fulfilling because everyone likes to share, you know, moments and things that they enjoy or love with others. So that will be the reason why I continue it. If I'm getting, some form of, I wouldn't say support because I don't really need support more so than I would just need confirmation that people are interested as well and think it's a, cool idea. And I would kind of further it along. Um, I think I have come up with plenty of ideas, but a lot of times to me, they're very serious. And what I mean by serious is, I mean, it's something that I think is cool or, something like that. And it's like, may be cool and all, but it takes a certain level of energy put into it to bring it to life or bring it to fruition. And what happens is it becomes overwhelming. That's a lot for one person to handle. And I'll try to push it, but me pushing it on my own is kind of like cumbersome. And so it ended up just being a personal project, personal story. And I've gotten to the point where I want to at least share those ideas, stories. So some of them may come back into play or into the spotlight, but at the moment they are in the drawer full of ideas. So anyway, um, I guess I'll say what made me bring this one forward. Uh, Nothing special, just me thinking, you know, it's new. I don't have a full ideal of attachment to it at the moment. So, I can scrap it if need be, but it's an idea that I think is worthy of attention, worthy of some TLC. And this is me giving it some spotlight. Another thing is sometimes I'm like, you have to be careful when you're, um, let's say, bringing forth a project because there are thieves out there and they'll take your idea, they'll use it. And I'm not even talking about individuals. I'm mostly talking about, people who work at corporations or corporations themselves allow it. And they have more than you do. And so guess what? that idea will be, commandeered. But anyway, so I also was like, I might as well publish it, uh, take ownership, stake my flag into the project. So therefore, if anything ever comes up, let's just say I've already claimed that it was my idea, so to speak. All right, this is probably going to be, like I usually say, boring and cumbersome. So let me get to it. I want to put these items on the edge of the build plate. This will allow me to squeeze in more. And this is interesting because I was using, see that says no. I was using Elegoo slicer, new slicer they have with their product. It comes with the product. And I was like, okay, pretty cool. Let's say hop in on using the Elegoo slicer. Well, lo and behold, it's okay, but I think it needs more. Let's say it's hard to explain what they need more of. Let me just say it wasn't as fast as it should be, if that makes sense. And what I'm saying by that is I would load a model and it'll kind of take a little longer than needed. And there was a lot of things that it was saying that was messed up on the model, and I'm like confused, like what's going on, what's messed up. I don't see anything that's showing, it's a tight model. Because in let's say Adobe Substance Modeler, once it goes through its process of bringing the model out to an STL, I will agree that I don't have control over the model, so therefore I can't say if it's doing what it should do. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure the model is airtight because when I go and check it in, other programs, I'm not seeing the problem that I get once I brought the model. Well, the problem I received once I brought the model into the slicer for Elegoo. But anyway, it was not doing so well. Also, it's, let's say this item here, the branch tree was so wide that it was taking up very, useful real estate, I'll say. And that, to me, that's not ideal because I want to put more on the build plate. And because everything is so precise in detail, I should be able to bring these items closer to each other the way I'm doing now. I know it's going to be difficult to um, separate these islands, but I have a large spatula and it's plastic. It's a plastic spatula. It's very large, so it allows me to, dig down under the little island platform. So them being connected is not much of a problem. I've never had any breakage of the models by using, well, not using, but by separating them from these islands, or just printing them close and they're all being one island. I have never had a problem with that. So I don't expect to have a problem with that even here. Um, Let me see. Maybe that's not a good item to put in there. What about this one? I'm just trying to make sure I take up as much space and place things where they can be printed, and then also not just be printed, but survive the print, I'll say, in the area. I don't know what this is, but it's there. I guess it's just a little open branch. But anyway, um, so yeah, I was using Elegoo. Nothing wrong with the with it with that program. It just wasn't doing what I needed it to do. But again, as they improve on it. No, don't delete my supports. I just want to spin and see if I can squeeze this model. Nope, I cannot squeeze it. Maybe if I do this. Boom. A model squeezed into tight space. This is the way. This is the way until all of a sudden your print fail. And you're like, what's wrong? What happened? And it's because you overdid it. But anyway, if I can get all this on here at one time and then there it is. This is what I was saying earlier. I had the mold, the back and front of the bear mold, and all the bears will look the same. I don't think I have maybe might do something different. I do have them modeled in different sizes. Like, let me give you an example. Um, actually, good example. Here, that's a skinny and tall. And then, nope, I don't have an example of the, maybe I do. Oh, and then here's the regular, the one that I have on the bill plate. That's short and kind of stubby, almost like the regular size. Um, Hello, no, I may be wrong. That may be the little small one. One I have is really no. I think that's the regular size. That's regular normal size that's on the bill plate. And another one I have is like really small. His head is a little bigger. And then I have a little chubby one. And so they're kind of like, oh, here's a little chubby one. And it's like representation of like different body types, so to speak. And I will use different colors. I mean, obviously, gummies are in different colors, so it's obvious I'll have different colors. Um, One moment. Error. YouTube is not responding. Let's open Studio. Okay, so I guess live viewers may run into some stuttering. Yeah, I can see it's kind of going slow. Okay. It is the first live stream, I guess. Right now I'm in good standing. Earlier it was not so good, but it may be some stuttering. I apologize for that. Um, I'm trying to get a hang of this. I feel like a dinosaur. That's a story for another time. Anyway, back to the, you know, primary reason why we're here. All right. Me working on this is I have ideas, I have stories of, I'm thinking about the gummy bears being kind of like I guess I would say not really like a colony, but just like a world of gummies, basically. And I just wanted to create like a interesting, let's say, IP. Being honest, when I first started thinking about the whole gummy aspect, it was more so just doing short videos. And I was going to use rapid, I call it rapid AI um, prototyping, and then also rapid AI storytelling, basically, where you kind of use AI to tell stories rapidly by using models. I would take my models into, let's say, something like Blender, use the model, manipulate it, move it, but I don't have to fully animate it because the AI would do the animation, and therefore it free up the long process of mating and allows you to kind of just focus a bit more on telling a story. And I was going to use the models themselves. I'm still going to do it, but use the models themselves in the program to guide and control the final output of the AI video. And that way I can get out little, quick stories, reference in a sense of, these gummies that I created. Um, with that, I'll just use that and go down that road. But before I decided to do, the kind of prototyping, because I already have the models of the gummies, I'm going to take them into Blender. I usually use Maya and other things, but I kind of want to go into the realm of how I say open source that allow others to kind of follow along if they would like, or help them solve problems that they may have while using similar packages, right? That's the idea. And so I'll do that. um the initial reason for doing all of this is to get these things done, because I'm not at the moment in the place where I can gather a lot of resources, I would say. Look at all this. I've squeezed all of that in there, but I will not be able to do something like bring this guy over because there's not enough space. And so it looks like I can bring this over. How can I say this? It looks like I'm just wasting space and time. Well, not wasting space, but as in I'm squeezing things in, it will not matter how much I have squeezed in these models, because what's going to happen is I'll be in need of I don't know what I want to say. All right, I squeezed in all these models, but it didn't give me no more extra space than the space I already have. Let's say it that way. And so I'm just kind of squeezing models in just to squeeze models in that case when I don't have to. If that makes any sense. Makes sense to me to just this right here. I'll need to put supports on it. So yeah, it makes sense to me to just go ahead and go back and kind of free up some of these tight spots. There's like no need for it to be so tight. Like this being here. No, I do not want to remove supports. That being there or this being in this little tight corner, I can free that up. Let's see any more. Those are okay. This is fun. You know, actually, let's bring this over here because that was a really tight spot. And if I can just do this, then this guy here, I can just spin. That looks a little better. Let you guys swap spaces. Okay. Let's spin you some more. Put you over here. You, I need to add support. So let's auto support you. Apply. That's cool and all, but let's give some manual support because this is a little brittle. All right, that should work for that. Anything else? Yes, you. Let's go for applying auto support for you. And let's move you back in. And the way you are set up, you need no extra supports because you are faced in the right direction. All right. Oh, excuse me. All right, that looks quite good. And so these are two. I don't need this. I have to bring that in another time. Let's say goodbye to these extra build plates and leave this the way it is. I'm going to save because, you know, let's call this, yeah, let's leave it as the Gummy Mech, and then the other ones I'll just do them as the, how can I say, it'll just be a gummy mole, and I'll just call it a gummy mole and leave it at that. I'm at poor streaming again, but either way. Still doing this thing. As we wait for this to continue saving. All right, I guess I'll gab. That's the best I can do, right? Okay, file is successfully saved. Let's now move into the territory of I've been through I don't need to repair. I'm done with prepping. I got the supports where they need to be. One thing I need to do is the primary thing. And again, uh, I am new to this program. So, well, I won't say new, but it's been a long time since I've worked on this program. And I do not know. Okay, there it is. Haha, slice. Let's now begin the slicing process. That's what I was looking for. Set this up so I can view it. Why not? No, I'll just slice. All right, while it's slicing, talk a little about what my plans are for this. All right, so I'm thinking I have a gummy mold. I don't know if I may offer the gummy mold so people can make their own gummies to put into the mech and kind of like give like instructions or something, or maybe a package or whatever to go with it that you can kind of make your own gummies. Um, that kind of straddles the fence of many worlds, and when I mean by worlds of like commerce, for one being that it's edible, it'll be kind of difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, and I'm saying not saying I won't look into it, but you know I kind of don't care to deal with at the beginning, like let's say FDA approval stuff because it's consumable. So ultimately, the mechs are going to just be hard character models placed into the mechs or pose. I'll do different poses of the character, and that'll be kind of like the start of it all. That's the first iteration of this project, and that's just the hard 3D printed character. Um, Now, as far as STL goes, I think I'll allow myself to, let's say, post a model for sale, but I'm not sure. So all this is just me just shooting off the top of my head of possible directions that I can kind of go with it. Um, I do know I want to offer it. I'll say that much. Everything I model, I do want to offer it. There are certain things that I may restrict myself from placing out on the marketplace is things that can be uh, that probably come to destroy and eat the gummies in a sense. So anyway, so that I think that may be a thing. And then the gummies have their mechs to fight, and they have also other things, and they want to protect the homeland. Anyway, I'll dig up more ideas on that, and until then, I'll be modeling out multiple types, just different mechs. And then in addition to just modeling out additional mechs, I'll be doing other things as well because I have other ambitions. One is a game that I want to do, and that's um, I would say one of my more intense projects. That one is Black Crown, and that's the curse of the goblin. Well, I'm sorry, the goblin's curse. Black Crown of Goblin's curse, and that's a goblin basically is the protagonist, and in so many ways either will break the curse and become the demon lord, or he will break the curse and become uh the dark elf. And that dark elf has a choice to kind of like, let's say build or destroy. So you'll have both. And in that game, I have different aspects that I want to employ into the mechanisms of like the mechanics of gameplay. I want it to be, fun as well, but at the same time, I want it to be something that is very functional, gameplay wise. So that's a task I have to get on to as well. And what we're gonna do is, oh, I'm talking and talking, and this thing has gone through something. Okay, it's sliced already, and then didn't take long. Didn't take long at all. See, I was standing, well, not standing. I'm sitting here talking and thinking that it was gonna take a while when it's practically done faster than I thought. And there you go, boom. And I like that. Now the slice has been done. I want to save this slice. All right, I have a thumbnail that I want to save this slice on. Not in there. Not in there. I'll just do it on the top. Let's call this Gummy Mech. And let's see if it'll save it. Last time I had issues because I didn't have enough space. But either way, that's it. That's the Gummy Mech. Not gonna waste too much more of your time. I just wanted to ramble a little bit about what I plan on doing. This is just episode 1. I want to try and do this damn near every day, I'll say. Because I'm here every day. Well, you know what? I can't say every day. I'm here most of the time. At least Monday through Friday, I am here, sitting down, going through the same. See, look, failed to save. Okay, I'll deal with that. But I'm here practically every day, Monday through Friday. So I might as well stream my process and do it that way. All right, that's it. Don't forget, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Um, I'm happy to have you if you are interested in, watching my process and helping along the way. I'll do my best to try and answer questions and, comment as well on videos and keep in contact with those who are interested in what I'm trying to build here. All right, that's it. I'm your host, Big Coffee, and I'll see you later in the next one. Thank you. I'm out. Peace.